The void level of the Wyrding Way is the spirit of unity. Centering at the void level means centering with all that exists. Centering at the void level means allowing yourself to connect with and to be open to your true self. It is allowing yourself to realize that you are perfect just as you are, even with your imperfections, because those feelings and desires are also part of who you really are. If you accept your imperfections and integrate them into your way of thinking and feeling about yourself, you will obtain peace of mind, and you will be centered at the void level. Some would tell you that the only proper attitude for a warrior is one of anger and hatred for the enemy. But there is a level of strength in battle which lies above the level achieved through relying on pure emotion. This, of course, is the void. It is reached by totally divorcing yourself from all emotion and thought of survival. In this state, your adversaries become welcome guests rather than hated enemies. In the void, victory is easy because there is a clarity of purpose and a purity of the senses unlike any other in this life. In the void, victory is always possible because in the void there is no death. Living and dying are all one at the center. Centering at the void level is the realization that we are all one, friend and foe, warrior and adversary. We all flow from the same source. Centering at the void level means coming to this awareness. It is the ultimate attitude a warrior of the Wyrding Way can achieve. When you have mastered this, you will be well on your way to being a spirit warrior. Journeying to the void requires extensive mental preparation. Reflect on your thoughts and align them to your intentions. Remember always to act with intention first. Before beginning any rite, ritual, or magic work in the Wyrding Way, first ask yourself, what is my intention? Next, ask yourself, are my thoughts, emotions, and actions supporting my intention? If your thoughts, feelings, and actions are not supporting your intention, then set the practice aside for another day. Then return when you are ready to ground, center, and focus solely on your intention. Once there was a student who studied with a master. They lived alone together on a remote island. When the student first came to study with the master, he was so poor he could barely afford the small fee the ferryman charged to row him to the island. But he had been saving for some time, and he felt that it was his destiny to study with the master, so he gladly surrendered his last penny to make the crossing. The student spent many moons at the feet of the master, learning the plant lore of the island and how to breathe, how to meditate, and how to ground and center. Over time, though, the student grew impatient with the master. He felt he was not making progress rapidly enough, so he told the master he was leaving the island to study with other masters. The master sighed, shrugged, and reached into a small wooden chest to take out a few coins. These he placed in the student's hand for the ferry trip to the mainland. The master gave the student a hug, then bid him goodbye. Many years later, the master was sitting on the beach eating his lunch when he noticed a figure waving to him from the mainland. He glanced up and saw his former student yelling excitedly for the master to watch. The master saw his former student as he walked across the surface of the waters to greet the master on the beach. The master then offered him a piece of fish as they both sat down together. "See what I have learned?" said the student to the master. "I can now walk on water." "And how long did it take you to learn this feat?" asked the master. "Only 9 years," replied the student. With a smile on his face, the master said, "So it only took 9 years of your life to save the price of a single ferry trip. Always remember that there is a time, a place, and a reason for using the Wyrding Way. Never yield to the temptation to resort to magical means when ordinary means will accomplish your goal. When you learn to do this, your thoughts, feelings, and actions will be in balance, and you will see the beauty in everything. Your mind will then be prepared to pass the second gate, and you will be centered at the void level. There is a face we present to the world. This face is called the persona. The other face is the shadow. The shadow face is where we hide all the things we do not like about ourselves. At the void level, shadow and persona are one. At the void level, unity is achieved between the person you are becoming and the person you wish to be. We all have a personal narrative that we call the story of our lives. Whether we choose to believe it or not, we are the authors of our own stories. We can change the story at any time by changing the narrative. Narratives or stories are made of words. We all create our own reality through the words we use. When doing shadow work at the void level, never let anyone know what you are thinking by expressing your thoughts in words, unless it will serve a useful purpose. Remember that words you utter can and will be used against you by anyone at any time, if it will be to their advantage to do so. Give many your ear, but few your voice. Only speak when absolutely necessary to achieve your purpose. This is the Wyrding Way at the void level. When hearing the words of others, remember that words are cheap. Few people say what they really mean. You cannot judge a person by the words that person chooses to use. Even people who are not consciously trying to deceive others or themselves will use words to lie to themselves or to others. The real test of what a person is trying to convey is in their actions. Learn to be a reader of the actions and behaviors of others, rather than a hearer and believer of their words. See the signs that are invisible to others, their facial expressions, their body language, their tone of voice, and the actions that follow their words. Words are often the static which covers the true message. Remember, when doing shadow work at the void level, focus on the words you use to create your own inner reality. Just for a moment, imagine a reality without words. Sit quietly and allow your thoughts to wander. Now notice the nature of these random thoughts. Were there any words present in your thinking? Can you have thoughts without words? Try it and see. Now think about the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors you have suppressed in your shadow self. How many of those thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are made of words? If you could move beyond words when centering at the void level, how much of what you suppress in your shadow self would disappear? If you could move beyond words when centering at the void level, how much of your shadow self could you integrate into your whole being as a vision seeker who walks in the Wyrding Way. When you can do this, you will have moved beyond the corrosive power of words. When you learn to have thoughts and feelings without words, your mind will be centered at the void level. When seeking wisdom from the void, there has been a long tradition in our people of the Wyrding Way of sitting outside to commune with those who have passed beyond the veil. The Kalevala, an epic poem from Finland, has this to say about the practice of sitting outside. Many runes the cold has taught me. Many lays the rain has taught me. Other songs the winds have sung me. Many birds from many forests oft have sung me lays in concord, waves of sea and ocean billows. Music from the many waters, music from the whole creation, oft have been my guide and master. The practice of sitting outside has one goal: to seek wisdom from the ancestors. This is accomplished through two major elements: centering and opening your consciousness outside while being in a place that has a connection to ancestors who have gone beyond the veil. This connection traditionally took place by sitting atop a burial mound. But since burial mounds are no longer culturally relevant, many choose to perform sitting outside in a cemetery or other place with a strong spiritual presence and connection to the ancestors. This is usually done at night. To begin, first select a place where you can sense the presence of the ancestors. Now, set your intention by forming a question in your mind. Finally, center yourself at the void level by moving beyond words and allowing your consciousness to embrace the void. As you open yourself to the void, trust the ancestors to give you the information and the healing you need. This may come in the form of an image or a vision, or as a sound, or as a fragrance, or as a song or a chant, or merely as an impression of an idea. When you have the answer you seek, thank the ancestors and leave the void by returning to your own body and your own existence in this life and in this time.